There's a very particular kind of weight that arrives in your 20s. And no, it doesn't come from failure, it doesn't come from confusion, but it comes from expectation. The expectation that by now you should just know that what you want to do with the rest of your life. The moment you graduate, the tone of conversations really start to shift. Before, people used to ask you what you're studying, and it was just very casual, but now people ask you, who are you becoming? So, what's next? What's the plan? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And what's unsettling is not the question itself, but the assumption that lies underneath it that clarity is the next natural step. And if you don't know, then you are dumb or you just haven't figured it out like everyone else in the whole world, right? Hey, you, and welcome to my channel. This is Shreya's Postcards, and I'm Shreya, and I'm so glad that you're here. This video is going to be a long one, so grab a beverage, grab some popcorn, and let's have a real talk, you and I. So yeah, let's just get into it because I have a lot to share. I have a lot that I need to get off of my mind. I've been thinking a lot about Sylvia Plath's fig tree analogy, and if you've not heard of it, you've come at the right place because this literally changed my perspective on everything. So, she describes sitting under a fig tree where every fig represents a different possible version of herself in her life, Like one is the brilliant academic career fig, one is a writer fig, the other one is an artist fig, the other is a marriage fig, and the other is completely different than the one that we just discussed. And she finds herself paralyzed because choosing one would naturally mean losing the other, right? This image feels painfully accurate for someone who's in their 20s because you're not suffering from a lack of option, but in fact, you have too many. Corporate, creative, post-grad, entrepreneurship, moving abroad or staying close to home. Each one looks viable and each one might as well just become your identity. I feel like the fear is also about choosing the wrong option, but also about the fact that if you choose one, it is just permanent and it is just irreversible. There's no going back. If you pick one fig, that's it. Like that's your whole entire life and you have to live with it. But I've realized that the fig tree isn't tragic because there are so many options. It's tragic because you're sitting under it, trying to intellectually predict which one will lead to eternal happiness, and that's it, without even plucking and tasting it and seeing for yourself what it's like. You're just trying to sit and predict what is going to be the best one, what is going to lead to this eternal happiness or success or just you living your best life without really just plucking it and tasting it for yourself. Because honestly, you cannot know what something tastes like or what something experiences like without going out there, chasing after it and getting it in the first place. And simply, if it's not aligned with what you want to do with your life, or if you just come to realize that this is not for you, you might as well just go and pick another fig, like that's the whole point. And you might be wondering, why am I, saying all of this? Because I was under a very obvious fig. I graduated almost like 2 years ago. It's not 2 years yet, but it's going to be 2 years. And I was preparing for MBA exams. I got into a couple of really good, decent colleges. And it was the most obvious step for me to go and take admission in that college because obviously it's the next best, safest bet that I can make on my life. And it leads to a very direct, safe path, which is a very viable option for everyone and anyone. And I've always been someone who's valued knowledge a lot. I've valued structure a lot. So the path was very clear, but I decided that I don't want to do this because getting into a college, going there meant like a very rigid path because it's basically designed to move you towards something that is very concrete. And I didn't even know what I like doing, I am someone who's always been a multi-passionate person. I've loved doing all sorts of things, like I love marketing, but I also love strategy. I also love art. I also want to create content. I also want to start my own design agency. And I've just been someone who's always been someone who's had a lot of interests, and choosing this path just meant that I'm going to commit to this for 2 years, and 2 years is not a small amount. So instead I chose to try every other fig that is in my tree, which is I got a job, I tried corporate, I have done freelancing, I am creating content now, and slowly and gradually I'm really trying to figure out and give myself the time to really understand myself and my interests deeply, because all our lives we've been in a very structured phase, like from the moment you're born, it's decided that, okay, at the age of 4, you're going to go to nursery and preschool and whatever. And then for 15 years, you're in this very structured environment of schooling where you know when's your exam, you know what to study, you know what to expect. And everything is basically served to you on a platter. And then you go to college, it's a very similar environment. But when you're out of college, people just expect that, oh my god, now this person should know what they want to do with the rest of their life. Now, how can you expect a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old who's fresh out of college to just simply know what they want to do for the next 50 years of their life? And that's exactly the point of making this video. Your 20s are treated like the decade where you have to really finalize on one identity and stick to it for the rest of your life, but that's not true. I think your 20s are one of the most fluid phases of your life where you actually figure out what is it that you want to do. This is the first time you are encountering the world directly. You are actually finding out what is it that you're capable of and what is it that you actually enjoy doing. Everyone almost glorifies anyone who says, I've got it figured out, I've always known what to do. But most of clarity comes from contrast, it comes from experience. It comes from trying something and realizing that, well, maybe it doesn't fit into who I want to become and the life that I see for myself. If you never try, how will you ever know? Exploration is not about instability, it is about research, it is about finding data points about yourself and then being able to transition to make a wise decision eventually. And the fear that choosing one erases all the other is genuinely outdated. Careers today are not single lane highways, they are layered. You can absolutely pivot, you can return to school later, you can build hybrid paths. The garden doesn't disappear if you've tasted one fruit. You can always just decide to drop it and choose something else. But the mistake that you are probably making, like me, is sitting under the tree and trying to contemplate, is this the right option? Is that the right option? That is not going to help you realize. That's only going to plague you because the fruits will rot, they will fall, and eventually you will starve. And especially at this age when we see everyone around us just always on to the next thing, After graduation, people start going for their masters. You see people posting on LinkedIn about their new jobs and what are they doing now. And everyone seems to be, really cool about it and everyone seems to have it all figured out. But what's actually dangerous is committing prematurely to something just because you think that you are falling behind. Uncertainty can also be intentional. Choosing to explore is not the same as drifting. So instead of asking, what am I locking myself with for the next 5 years? Ask yourself, what am I trying next? What am I learning from it? What is this teaching me about myself? That feels more honest. And honestly, our 20s are not the final draft. They are honestly the beginning of our journey. They are the phase where you collect real world evidence to build a path that is not just impressive from the outside but intentional to you. So when someone asks, what are you doing? What's your plan? I don't always have a polished answer. But I do know one thing for sure, that I'm not sitting under the tree starving. I'm tasting every single fig that I can from my tree, every single thing that I want to do with my life, because I don't want to have the regret that, oh, maybe I could have tried that. You can try everything you want to, because that's exactly how you will know what is it that you like doing. So it's okay if you don't have your entire life figured out. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take one step. You just have to pick one thing from the tree that you're interested in. Let's say, for me, it's content creation. That's the fig that I have on my hand currently. Let's see how that goes. Let's see if I really enjoy it. If, it's something that actually gives me fulfillment. If it does, great. If it doesn't, I know that I have the whole entire tree to pick from. And I know that clarity built from experience is going to be stronger than clarity declared too early just because I felt pressure from other people and just because of this inherent comparison from other people. You just have to know one thing. Your journey is yours, because who exactly are you behind from? Whose timeline are you deciding your life's trajectory? Your life is yours and yours alone. Just because you're 22, 23, 25 or 27 even, you are not behind in life. You are very much still alive and breathing and still figuring it out. And let's be honest, life is just this, ever evolving journey of just figuring it out. And in the process, just finding yourself, finding pieces of yourself that make you feel more alive and confident. And that's exactly what it is. So it's okay if you don't have the answers. The message that I want to give you guys from this video is that your success, your happiness, it comes in movement. It will come if you keep moving. It will not come if you just sit still under the tree and you're trying to contemplate everything. That's not how it works. So, yeah, I really hope this video was helpful to people who really needed to hear these things, because I, for myself, really needed to hear this. Yeah, if you like this video, please make sure that you like it. I would love to read your thoughts and hear what you have to say about this topic, and just being in your 20s, what is it like for you? So please drop a comment below. Please subscribe to my channel, because I have lots of videos coming up. Hopefully, let me know what you want me to talk about next. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm really grateful that you made it to the end, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.